Now at 5:30, 25,000. That's how many New Yorkers have lost their lives to COVID-19. The governor making that sobering announcement earlier today. But there is some encouraging news to report. Governor Cuomo says the state infection rate has dropped to 1.3%. That's down from 1.5. However, the question remains this evening, is New York City ready to move into phase 4 of reopening? News 4's Andrew SIFF has been taking a look at that. He's out at Citi Field tonight. Andrew.
Yeah, David, we're at Citi Field because one of the surreal aspects of this pandemic, the Yankees are playing the Mets here at Citi Field on Saturday with no fans. It's technically a spring training game, even though it's in the middle of the summer. More on that in just a moment. But as we wait to find out whether phase 4 can actually happen in New York City, speaking of waiting, countless New Yorkers are still waiting for their COVID test results for days or even weeks.
It's very frustrating.
When Jordana Jacobs and her son Max headed over to CityMD on July 2nd, they expected some kind of wait for his test results, especially when signs popped up warning of a 7-day wait. But now it's been 13 days and counting.
What good are tests that come back 2 weeks later? If anyone was asymptomatic, they would have been out and about for 2 weeks infecting people.
No one at CityMD answered our calls. The lab that handles many of their cases, Quest Diagnostics, told us despite our rapid scaling up of capacity, soaring demand for COVID-19 molecular diagnostic tests across the United States is slowing the time in which we can provide test results.
In the last few days, we see some improvements.
Mayor de Blasio today promised at the city's public health labs you'll get results in an average of 3 days. But he acknowledged the nationwide COVID spike has cast fresh doubt on the city's next phase of reopening. An unsettling sign as the Bronx Zoo and other cultural institutions had targeted opening as soon as Monday.
Phase 4 is being deliberated right now between the city and the state.
The mayor promising an answer in the next 2 days, although it's ultimately Governor Cuomo's call. The zoos said they'll push back opening if directed to do so. The mayor saying just like indoor dining got cut from phase 3, key parts of phase 4 may have to wait. We already know there will be no Broadway shows this year, and higher education was supposed to resume next month, but...
For example, a number of colleges and universities have already announced that they're not going to do in-person classes. So we got to decide how we feel about the different pieces of phase 4.
And back live now. And again, Governor Cuomo has already decided that at places like Citi Field and Yankee Stadium, Major League Baseball players can come back and participate in phase 4 activities without any fans in attendance. As for all of those other cultural institutions like the Botanical Garden and the zoos, the mayor says we'll get an answer in the next 2 days. We're live at Citi Field. Andrew SIFF, News 4 New York.
Okay, we'll see where it goes. Andrew, thank you for that update. On Long Island, officials are urging the U.S. Senate to pass a bill that will help fund local governments and school districts crushed by the pandemic. Republican Congressman Peter King had this message for Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell today.
The devastation to the economy and to the county and town budgets has been done. This has to be done without delay. It's not a red state or blue state or Democrat or Republican. It's an American issue.
Nassau and Suffolk County officials say billions of dollars in federal aid can help towns and communities on the island greatly impacted by COVID-19. They hope the money can go towards rebuilding businesses and making schools safe for children and teachers. A couple of headlines today regarding coronavirus. We want to sort through them with our friend, Dr. John Torres, who's also an NBC News medical correspondent. Dr. John, good to see you. First, let's talk about the encouraging news from the biotech company Moderna, its vaccine trial. It was reported in the New England Journal of Medicine. Dr. Torres, I need you to give us some perspective. Sometimes we get ahead of ourselves with the timeline, so give us a reality check.
So, Dave, it's great to see you as well, and thanks for letting me be here. With Moderna, what they're saying is their vaccine has actually gone through a couple phases of the trials, the human trials, and now they're going to start entering phase 3. They think that'll happen at the end of the month. In that phase, there'll be 30,000 people involved in the trial, and what they're looking for there is how safe and effective the vaccine. What they have found so far, remember these are smaller trials, is that it seems to be safe and it seems to be effective to the point where the vaccine was producing what we call neutralizing antibodies. These are antibodies that directly target coronavirus. And it was producing them to the point where it was giving them more of those antibodies than people who actually had coronavirus. And so that's good news. Unfortunately, we're not exactly sure what those antibodies, how long they're going to last, how long the shot will last itself. And so this phase 3 trial is going to help answer those questions. And again, the main thing is to make sure it's safe and effective in a variety of age groups, a variety of medical conditions. So it's going to be a huge trial, and hopefully by the end of the year, we end up having this vaccine, David.
Doctor, I know you've been taking a look at the antibodies. I know there were some studies out about the overall degree of protection from them. We're learning more?
We are learning more about it, and just like the virus itself, we're learning more every day. And what we're finding out is the antibodies don't last as long as we thought they would. But the unknown is, what does that mean? Because we know with some viruses, you can't detect antibodies, but as soon as that virus hits the body, the immune system can produce those antibodies, and we can get good results that way. Other types of viruses, you need to have high levels of antibodies in your body. We don't know where coronavirus falls here. If you need antibodies, or if you can just have that memory in your immune system to develop them quickly. Time will tell with that. But it does have implications for the vaccine itself, because this probably means we're going to need booster shots, maybe a little closer together than we thought. It might need to have stronger vaccines than we originally thought. Again, time will tell. We're learning more every day, and hopefully by the end of the year, they'll have a much, much better understanding of the antibodies and how much protection those do or don't give us.
Dr. John Torres, always helping us make sense of it. Thank you, Dr. Torres. And of course, you can find out the latest on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.